Offensive playmaker availability, Devon, Waddle, Waller. How it's looking for those three for Sunday?
Okay, so Waddle will be limited today, so he'll be questionable for the game. We will put later today. We'll put Waller on IR, and we Vaughn won't practice today. And typically, guys that don't practice on Friday, don't end up playing. However, special circumstances. So I'm not going to rule him out. And he's motivated to try to play, so I'm going to take the time with him as well.
How about on defense with Chop and Minka?
Chop's still in the protocol, but he'll practice today, just going through that process. I'm optimistic, but we'll see. Minka it looks like he will be out.
Brewer and Brooks, please.
JB is a warrior. He's giving it a go, doing what he can today, and has the full intention of playing. The only way he wouldn't is if his body wouldn't let him. And then I feel pretty good about Brewer playing this week.
Kicker?
It looks like, unless there's something that changes in the next moments, I think I'm going to go with Riley again. Just prioritizing not only ability, but the longevity of the game and being able to kick for 4 quarters, because your recourse is if I bring him back too fast, I'm worried about the recourse. So looks like we're probably going to go that direction.
How impressive is it that he's on pace to set a franchise record and he was out of work?
Yeah, it's one of the cooler stories. One of my favorites of just taking advantage of opportunities, and that's kind of like what I've been talking about. That I truly mean, and how I talk to the team about every game that we have. You have an opportunity in the National Football League that what you do with it defines the course or trajectory of things. And you're talking about a guy that was, channel surfing when we started, gets an opportunity and really takes full advantage of it. I think he's, it's pretty incredible to be able to take advantage of the opportunity to an extreme of the statistical what you just referred to is real, and I think in the process what I told him earlier in the season when he had already been dependable for us is like, congratulations, what you've done is you have a NFL career off of something like that where you it doesn't matter, you take the things outside of his control and he can play NFL football because he's executed in the moments of truth. So I feel very fortunate that we have him as part of the team, and he's done a great job with the opportunity given.
Coach, regarding the running back position, if Achane can't go, the last 2 years he's had to exit 2 games. And in those games, Jalen Wright had 86 yards against the Patriots last year and 107 against the Jets this year. Why do you think Jalen Wright excels when Achane is not available?
Well, I think Vaughn does a great job of timing up whenever he gets dinged is when Jalen Wright's game is right. Honestly, I think it's just being prepared for your opportunity. I've made my opinions clear on Jalen Wright, since we've drafted him. And, right now, it just so happens that, I think he's at the top of his game since I've been around him. And, he's playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of conviction. He's thinking less, reacting more. I think it speaks to this commonality in the National Football League that, if your eyes are down or your ears are you have earmuffs on, you don't pay attention to this continued pattern of Like you have to be ready for your opportunity and not worry about when your opportunity is coming. If you focus on your game and being prepared and being capable, then which it's easier when you're behind a Pro Bowl running back. I think they appreciate each other's game, and he understands why Devon gets all the touches he gets. But in the process, building his game up from the preseason all the way through the year, I wasn't surprised when he had a 100-yard game a couple weeks ago, and he's ready against an opponent that it's different players and a little different scheme, but he had a good outing last time he was in Gillette. So I feel very fortunate, and our team's fortunate to have multiple ball carriers that we trust. And you don't replace directly any, if Vaughn can't go, but you have instead you utilize all of your players, including your entire running back room, and give them opportunities that they probably otherwise wouldn't have. So I think I can't say enough good things about Jalen Wright, because he's always been talented. He's always been a hard worker, but this was a different mental test with high ambitions going into the season and being inactive. And he's come out of it being the best version of himself, which I think is something that I'm hoping all young players pay attention to, because it's real.
We know that what Devon's done on the field, but I'm curious, like his growth as a leader and kind of the status of the nucleus of your offense. Has that given you some confidence with some of the personnel decisions you've made this year, his personal growth?
Well, I think he's you get out what you put in, and he's found not only ways to work on his game, but he's really invested in relationships. He is, the relationship he has with our offensive line, he is tight with them. He's before meetings on the road, if we get to we'll get to Boston like 5 o'clock or something, and he'll get to the hotel and spend an hour or two playing cards with those guys. That's what, if you want to be a really good player and you want to be on a really good team, you have to be a really good teammate. And I think he's taken tremendous strides, considering when he first got here, you didn't know what his personality was. He was quiet, and once he built relationships with guys, you just continue to see him blossom into the overall value adder that he is, just by not only game but personality. He's loves to give guys a hard time in a competitive way. He's the first guy that I lean to. If somebody drops a football, he's the first one to vocalize, "Hey, you should catch that," and in a funny way. That competitive spirit that he provides is infectious, and I think part of it. It's not exclusive to his getting reps at outside zone tracks and being better at that. His growth in his game is, as a teammate as well, which is why he continues to grow in results.
Patriots went on a bit of a run after your guys' matchup and look to be one of the top dogs in the AFC going forward. I don't want you to look too far in the future, because I know you're focused on just this game, but with how close you guys were to victory, how motivated is this team to sort of set the tone going forward?
Well, I think you respect and regard a team's ability to win 13 games in the National Football League, and within our division, we have the opportunity to go win a game and not be swept within the division. That is easier said than done. I think it's a great test to go on the road and try to accomplish that, because they're very prideful and they want to play at home as much as possible, which is what they can control with beating us. So as far as it relates to moving forward, this team just needs to finish the season, defining itself by the response mechanisms and the resiliency that you can by going and trying to earn a victory. It as opposed to just putting forth anything short of their best, most convicted effort. So I think if the season is ending before you want it to, you better make sure that your last outing is what you're capable of. I think that's the most important thing, is to go against a 13-win team and not back down, step right at them, and try to go win a football game. And they won't do. They have a lot of vested interest to not allow that to be the case. So I'm looking forward to the competitive environment as it should be in January AFC East football.
There's a report that Troy Aikman is going to be helping the organization find the next GM. I'm wondering if you have a relationship with Troy, and do you think that works in your favor toward returning in any way?
Okay, so I can answer your first question with I was in conversations that I won't share beyond. With ownership, I was aware, and I think I'm not opposed to more information ever. I think prioritizing the importance of a decision, you educate yourself, and I think Troy Aikman speaks for himself in terms of his relationships that he's had within the National Football League, and knows a lot of things that information is a positive to me, and being able to resource that, I think we're fortunate. I'm excited for that. As far as everything else, again, I'm not going to spend 1 second of this job prioritizing what my job is under some other, does this work for me? Or my priority is, all right, I'm a head coach, and I'm going to take those responsibilities as they relate to everybody involved in the organization. I'm take those serious and focus on that. And I'm not joking, lying, misleading. I don't think about all those questions ever. It's a waste of my time, and I don't try to waste my time or other people's.
Mike, did you evaluate Cam Miller at all before the draft, and what do you like about him?
Absolutely. I liked we were pretty fired up when we saw him play. I had kind of seen some overlap based on when I was in San Francisco, we drafted Trey Lance, and he followed him, so kind of knew of him, and then enjoyed watching how competitive he played the position, and was super tough in the pocket with field vision down the field. So very familiar and excited that he's a part of our squad.
Coach, when you look at the fast track of Quinn Ewers' development, with his first matchup against a division opponent, what stood out to you the most this week?
Well, I think what stands out about Quinn is that he has the all of the tools to continue to grow, and you have to grow at that position. It's ever changing. Defenses are changing. Your responsibilities, how you motion, how you operate, evolves, and your game has to too, because the opponents get paid and see plays that you like, and you have to be able to. If you're really good at throwing short, you're going to have to throw long, or if you're good at throwing long, you're going to have to throw short eventually. So all those things, you have to be capable of growth. So when I say that it doesn't look too big for him, I see a guy that is being able to operate the offense from the huddle, get everyone in the right spots, execute cadence, and then take what the defense is giving him to the best of his ability. He and you have to be that field vision, and you have to be a level or have a level of fearlessness that I think he's shown. Does that mean he's playing perfect quarterback? Absolutely not. But he the growth in the limited opportunities that has been 2 full games, has been impressive. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he, as a competitor, he wants to keep that development going, and as a coach, I want to see that. So he'll go and compete, but I know it will the end results will be to the best of his ability for that day, because of what he's shown me, how he prepares. So I didn't know that going into it. I kind of assumed, but he prepares in a manner that you need your starting quarterback to prepare.
On Troy Aikman, we all remember he was critical during that Monday Night Football broadcast of the urgency at the end of that Steelers game. Was there any clearing of the air that took place between you and
so that stuff doesn't hit. Like when I sign up for this job, this just in, and when things work, people will applaud. When they don't work, they'll have critiques. That is, and if I expect anything else, that's a level of entitlement that doesn't really hit me correctly. So it's kind of the nature of the biz. Like, so you're telling me he didn't like us not scoring points and taking up too much time. Neither did I. That was not the intent. And he's doing his job. And when I signed up for this job, it was inherent that results dictate all narratives, regardless of if something was good, bad, or whatever. So doesn't bother me in the least. As a matter of fact, I think it would be funny if it did.